this is Brandy, otherwise known as Mystery of Diamonds, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hey y'all! Okay, so this is my final whip and chat for Lumina. I've been doing this collaboration with Kara, who is the principal painter diamond painting here on YouTube. I'm going to make sure I link her channel down below, because if you have not checked her out, oh, you've got to check her out. She is awesome. I will say that as I've been doing this collaboration with her, like, her and I talk every night, and she has become truly, truly one of my best friends. And that's one of the reasons I absolutely love this community on YouTube. It's not just with other creators, but I've had a chance to form friendships with subscribers and other people, and it's just, everybody is amazing, you know, and we try to lift each other up with our diamond paintings. So I kind of wanted to show you my progress so far, and obviously, you know, it's not big enough to show everything. So far, what I have done is up to here. So I have, forgive me here, hold on a second. So this, okay, you know what? Just be fussy, canvas. So this is what I have left to do. So I have, you know, after I finish this section, I'll have a row and a half. So, and I've got a week to get this done. I'll get it done. Not to worry. But, you know, I thought I would also show you, because I know that, you know, I work from the top down. The way that I work is I like to actually go like from right to left. I move this way across the canvas and I go down. And, you know, I've had people ask, you know, how do you manage, because I don't work, I have not ever, even with a very large canvas, like I've been working on Boreas by Distracted by Diamonds, and that is a 70 by 96 centimeter canvas, and I still work the same way. So people are like, how are you able to work large canvases and not turn them around and flip them around and everything else? And so I thought I would show you how I actually have been working on this and how I work on any large canvas. You know, a lot of us probably have some of these foam cores, you know, that we've gotten from double-sided adhesive canvases. Okay, and I keep my foam cores. One, I keep them because I'm a science teacher and you never know when you can use them. And two, I keep them because what I do is I take it and I put it in, you know, the middle of the canvas like this, and then I carefully roll with my diamonds facing outward. You always, if you're going to roll your canvas, you want to make sure that you're rolling with the diamonds facing outward. Now, once I have that, I went to Dollar General and I found like a pack of these for $1. Now, one of them did break, so I had to use this one because I have my other ones, because they come in like a 4-pack. I have my other ones on my Boreas canvas. And then I've got where, and I got to get my light pad, so sorry, which although I technically don't need my light pad during the day, not on this canvas, and the reason why I won't be turning it on to work is because I don't want to like blind y'all, and I don't know how, once I take this piece up, forgive me a second, once I take this piece up, see, you won't be able to see as much with my, oh look, a random drill. You got up underneath there, you bad drill. Shame on you. You're not in the space you're supposed to be. Okay, so sorry. We had a little runaway drill there. All right. And so I will work on this without the light pad on. So that I can show you all. And I will bring the camera down closer. But I thought I'd go ahead and show you, you know, since those of you that have been following my channel, you know that I tend to try to work with my nails in the canvas. Now, the nails that my daughter had painted prior, and I do have unboxings that I've got to finish editing and get put up. So look forward to those. And the last one that she did, it's going to be, you know, a couple of days before I can get that one out. The nails came off. And she's like, no, Mom, I don't have time right now. I'm working on my homework and everything else, so I can't do your nails. So I had to do my own. So I had to kind of stick with, you know, a solid color. And then I added like this iridescent glitter on it, kind of like our ABs. And I did, and I know you can't see as well, it's kind of it's starting to try to storm outside, and so the light's not that great, but it's a teal, and it has the sparkly, and I did that because I did her fingernails and her lips in this teal sparklers with Tina. Okay, now, a couple of pieces of business. Please remember that in order to be, because, you know, we will have one more winner and everything, and you want to be entered in that. So please make sure that you are commenting on the videos. And if you don't know how to comment, just so you know, that right up underneath the picture and everything, there's a little section, it'll say comments, and you click on it and it'll allow you to type in the comments. Okay, you need to comment on the videos, and you need to fill out the Google form. Now, if you don't know how to get to the Google form, it's in the description box. Now, the description box, there's okay, so for instance, this is the YouTube picture. Okay, and down below where the title is, there's an arrow button that, you know, it's like this. Okay, and you click on that and it's going to expand the description box, and you'll be able to see the Google form. Click on that, because in order to be able to contact you so that I can send you your prizes, I have to have your email address so that I can contact you. Okay, so all I'm asking for is your YouTube name and your email address, because, you know, however you appear in the comments, that's the name, you know, the YouTube name, but then I need your email address to go along with that so I can contact you. And I will be letting you know who the winner is of last week's Whip and Chat. Okay, so I think that's it for announcements. Like I said, stay tuned to the end so that you can see who won. Alright, I am going to go ahead and bring you down for a ride. Bring you down where we can get you closer into my working. Hold on up. I am trying to rearrange stuff here so my camera gets all fidgety. Alright, so I think that's going to be good. Okay, so, you know, Kara and I are both educators. You know, I am a high school teacher, and she is a principal at a junior high school. And, you know, we have a lot of different things to share. Oops, I got to fix this. We have a lot of things in common. And, you know, last week I talked about, you know, a coach that meant a lot to me. And so I kind of thought that this week what I would talk about would be an experience that I had when I first became a teacher. Okay. And one of the first things, like after I did my internship and everything, and I started working at the middle school teaching 8th grade math, I saw an email where it was asking for math and science teachers to apply to do this thing called weightless flight. Okay. And for those that aren't real sure what like weightless flight is, I'm going to explain it all like a little bit more in detail, but it's kind of training like how astronauts train. And it's an amazing experience. So I saw the application and I filled it out, and like they were only asking for people in Florida at the time, because they had gotten a grant. And so they were paying everything, they were paying for the, I guess you call it like the workshop and everything, and your training and anything that came with the territory for this flight. So, like I was like, I want to do that. I mean, hello, who doesn't want to? Like I'm one of those people, like I love like roller coasters, and a yellow AB somehow escaped my notice. Forgive me, I've got to put it back with its friends over here. No, you bad little AB. Okay. He's trying to escape. Okay, sorry. So I saw the email and I was like, I want to do this. This sounds exciting. Because, the email said, train like an astronaut. And I was like, I don't know very many kids that have not at one point or time in their life not wanted, to be an astronaut. I mean, come on. I mean, maybe there are a few, but me, I wanted to. So I was like, this is so for me. I filled it out. I didn't really have any hopes of actually like doing it, because I knew that there were going to be a lot of people applying for it. But I said, you know what, if you don't ever try, you don't ever know. So I put in the application. There were about 200 people applying for it, I found out later, and they only chose 60 of those 200, and I happened to be one of the 60, and I got to be I was actually one of the first 30 chosen, because they did it in 2 batches, 30 people each. And so I was actually in the first group. And so I was excited. I showed up at the, I had to drive to the place where they were training us, which was over in the Kennedy Air Force Center. And, I showed up. I saw all the other teachers, and there was only one other teacher from my district that had gotten chosen, and he actually got chosen in the first group as well. He was a science teacher. I was a math teacher. So, I was excited. I saw someone that I knew, and I was like, oh my gosh, hey, can you believe this? And, he was like, no, this is going to be so much fun. And I agreed with him, and so they gave us this huge training, what all we have to do, the terms that they were going to use. Oh, I forgot one. You ever done that where you thought you'd looked over the canvas and you thought you didn't see any, but sure enough you did? So I do what's called this like stab and grab. I just reach in there and find the one since there's only one, and I can put it in there. Okay. Oop, my baddie. Sorry. And so because one of the things that they let us know is exactly how this was going to work. And they said, all right, so what weightless flight is that we're going to put you in an airplane. And this airplane is going to do a parabolic flight. That means it's going to go up, It's going to reach the top up here. Okay, it's going to kind of fly pretty straight forward up. Okay, and during this straight up flight, it's going to put 3 G's on your body. And so we need you laying down flat so that you don't, you know, because when 3G hits, I mean, it hits hard. If you've ever been on that, like, there's a ride at the fair called Gravitron, right? And it spins round and round and round. And if you're inside what looks like a little spaceship, they have these little padded seats, right? And it smacks you to the seat, and then the seat goes up, and you can't lean forward, you can't anything because of how much force is being pressed. Okay, it's kind of the same thing, except that you're down on the ground. So they don't want you like where you're standing, because then, I mean, you will crumple. I mean, the force will push you down. So they, you know, they taught us how to be able to lay in, and then once the airplane gets to the top of the parabola, they cut the engines to the airplane, and so the airplane starts doing a free fall. Now, it's a safe cutoff. It's not one of those where it can't be restarted kind of thing, okay? But it goes into a free fall, okay? Now, once this airplane goes into free fall, everything inside the airplane becomes weightless, okay? Now, they can only maintain this for 26.5 seconds, okay? And then they've got to engage the engines again, so that they can complete the, you know, they've done the fall down. Now they got to do the steep climb down and back up to start it again. And so they told us they would give out a call, and they would say, coming out, coming out. And when we heard coming out, that was when the engines were going to be engaged, and we had to, once we started feeling some of the gravity, we had to quickly get laid down so that we didn't get crushed, okay? And, you know, so they made us practice that in the, like in the classroom that we were doing the training in. So they made us practice it over and over and over again, practicing doing the sounds and the commands, the coming out. And, you know, they did tell us, you know, dangers, because obviously, you know, you are in an airplane, you know, you are, if the, you know, if the engines don't re-engage properly, you know, the airplane will fall. You know, there is a possibility of a crash. We didn't have to worry about other airplanes in the space, and that's because we were in private airspace that they had gotten permission to do these weightless flights in. And the group that did it was called Northrop Grumman, and they're like a private company, and, you know, they offered this to teachers for free, you know, and they offered it actually all over, at least the U.S. that I know of. It's just that they were focusing on different states at the time, and so Florida happened to be at that particular time. And, you know, they showed us some videos of other groups that have already done it, and, you know, kind of what we get to expect. Then one of the coolest things that they did, and I was just like, oh, yes, you know, because it makes you feel like all the more of an astronaut, is that they gave us our very own flight suits, and we got to keep these flight suits. Now, it had like our name badge on it, and it had the American flag sewn on the side, and it had, you know, the Northrop Grumman name on it. And I mean, it looked like an actual astronaut suit. Now, I've got a picture that I will try to insert of when I came back. I got interviewed on TV, as well as they did a press release and it got put out in the newspaper. And so I've got a picture of me in my flight suit with the other teacher, that went from our county. And so I will try to insert that picture here if possible. I'm still working on being able to do certain editing things. All right, so we practiced, you know, but then, you know, it wasn't time to go on the flight yet because they wanted us to do our training. And then they sent us back to school because they kind of wanted us to let our students know, like, what was happening, you know, and what we were going to get to do. Now, one of the things that we had to do while we were in training was we had to find ourselves a group, you know, and they 3 people to a group. And one of the purposes of this was to come up with an experiment to do while in what we call 0G, or no gravity. And so each group got together and they needed to come up with what it is that they wanted to do so that they could make sure that on the day of the flight, you know, all the materials were brought. So my group, we decided we wanted to try to answer the question, can you tie your shoes in 0 gravity? Well, I'll tell you about that in just a minute as far as the outcome of that. So anyway, one of the other ladies in my group was like, I want to bring, you know, the shoes. I've got, you know, we'll just bring 1 pair. Because, see, they didn't want us bringing too much stuff. And they didn't want stuff that could also cause a mess. So they had already warned us about that. You know, so no, like, liquid experiments or anything like that. And, you know, we had to agree to those. So she was going to bring all the materials, you know, and we stayed in contact with each other. When we went back to the school, and we got to show our kids, like, the teaser trailer of, you know, of another group that was doing it and what it kind of looked like. I don't know if I still have that teaser trailer on my computer because I have changed computers since then. I can look and see if I have it to be able to link in here so that you can see it, but if I don't, I'm sorry. But you can actually, I think you can look up weightless flights on YouTube, and you might be able to see kind of what we got an opportunity to do. So as the day is approaching, I'm getting more and more and more excited. And so, you know, when we get there, they had given us a packet. Like, we first got there and they're like, all right, we have some supplies for you to take back to your classroom, which were these little science readers, all about, like, engineering and space and astronauts and things like that. Things to give students information on space and aeronautical jobs out there. And so they said, all right, go ahead. Man, I'm just a popping today. So sorry. They said, go ahead and take these out to, or put them in your bags for after the flight, and then you can get them. They had also warned us, you know, if you possibly have any kind of motion sickness or whatever, and even if you have never had motion sickness, you might still want to take some Dramamine because, but non-drowsy Dramamine. You know, you don't want to be falling asleep and, like, not be able to follow the directions, and then your body be tossed every which way, and that would, yeah. So they gave us those, and of course we couldn't wear shoes. They gave us these little, oh my gosh, I call them hospital socks, because you know those little socks that you put on when you've had like surgery, and they have like the little grippies on the bottom of the feet? Yeah, it had those. And this is because they didn't want us, like, because we were going to end up, you know, possibly clashing in the airplane, and they didn't want us knocking each other out, because once again, they didn't want unconscious people floating around and then 0G and it, you know, smacking them down to the ground. So yeah, they made us wear those little footies or socks, because they were long socks. They also, our flight suits had these pockets, which is so cool that they have pockets. And in one of the pockets, because I remember they specifically went over it, they said, all right, if for whatever reason you feel that you are going to be sick, we have an air sickness bag in your flight suit. Please take it out and try to control your vomit into there. Because see, weightless flight through this airplane method has been referred to as the vomit comet. You know, because some people do get sick. Okay, so we had those, and the reason why, you know, you have to worry about that is when you have no gravity, your vomit has no gravity, and it will float in the air. And then when 3Gs comes on, it will then splash everybody down. Yeah, no, not a pleasant thing that you want to have happen. And I did not want to be sick on this. So even though I am not prone to motion sickness, I just absolutely positively said, So I took me some non-drowsy Dramamine, and I got ready to go. You know, all of us were super excited. You know, you're talking about math and science teachers who, for them, this is like a chance of a lifetime. Like, and they told us that the reason they said we're getting to train like astronauts is because when the space program is actually training astronauts to be able to be in 0G or, you know, no gravity situations, they actually take them on something like this, but they have to do a lot more rotations than we got to. They went ahead and told us that we would be doing, it was like, let's see, 15 rotations. Now, and forgive me for not diamond painting for just a second. The first rotation was for a smaller parabola. And so what the smaller parabola would do is it would do the same thing as the 0G, except that when you got up to here and the engine's cut, because it's a smaller or a shallower one, then it mimics the gravity like on the moon. So it's like 1/3 or 1/6 of Earth's gravity. So what we could do is like, because remember, we're having to lay down, and we could lay on our stomach for this first one, and I could actually do like this, and I could just do like a little push up, and it would bring me up off the ground, and then it would lower me back down, because, you know, you still have some gravity, but it's not like, it's not smashing you back down. So we did one rotation like that, and then we did 2 bigger rotations where they increased the parabola again, but this time we had a little bit less gravity, and it was supposed to mimic like what gravity you would feel on Mars, because Mars does have gravity, guys. It's not, you know, it's not weightless. Same with the moon, and that's why, like, when you see the astronauts on the moon, you know, they're not floating away, you know, because weight does not matter. If you're weightless and you're in 0G, there is no gravity, so it doesn't matter how big you are, okay? And so the moon and Mars do have gravity. It's just not as much as what we have here on Earth. And so in that one, you could push off and you like hit the top of the airplane and then you'd come back down. So that one was pretty cool. I mean, I could just barely touch anything and I could go up. And then we had 12 rotations of the 0G, and that one, you know, you're completely weightless. And trust me, one of the first things that I did was, you know, because, okay, hold on, let me back up a second. The other thing about weightlessness, you see in movies where people are like, you know, swimming and being able to move. No. If you don't have something to propel you forward, you're not going to move forward. You're just going to stay in that same spot looking ridiculous, waving your arms. So they had already told us this. And so when the weightlessness hit, you know, we came up and I was close to the ceiling, so I was able to push off from the ceiling and I was able to do cartwheels. Now you can propel yourself, you know, at least in the same spot. So like you could do not cartwheels, I meant like a roll. So you could do rolls and it was fun. And then of course, you know, you could push off the side of the airplane and go forward. So we tried a couple of different things because they allowed us to play around with the gravity the first couple of turns, you know, just on our own, let us do what we want. Then we had to go ahead and pick up our experiment and do our experiment. So, you know, they let us practice those, and then we had about 3 turns or rotations for us to do our experiment. So I let the teacher who actually brought the shoe, she got to try first. And you know what she did was she, instead of a whole shoe, because we weren't supposed to have the soles and everything, she had like the leather part that was the tie part was attached to like a sock, and so she could pull the sock over her foot and then attempt to try to tie it. But the problem was that every time, you know, because we're so used to when we bend down to tie our shoe, or we could bring our shoe up to us. Well, you can't bend down, because every time you go to bend down, you would flip. And so she would try to bring the shoe up to her, but then she would flip backwards. And so she was sitting here trying to tie the shoe while flipping backwards, and it just was not working. And, you know, of course, you know, being, you know, educators and everything, you know, and especially science-minded people, we're like, well, hold on, I bet I can try it. Let me try this. So, you know, the next rotation was the other teacher, and then I got to try it. And none of us could tie our shoe in 0G, because no matter how much you attempted to bring that shoe to you, or you go to the shoe, you kept flipping. Then the last couple of rotations, they had us play games, and one of them was toss the teacher. That's what they called it, toss the teacher. So they said, okay, since you have 3 people in your group, you're going to have one teacher ball up in a ball, and the other 2 teachers are going to push her or him back and forth. I didn't volunteer to be the ball, but one of the teachers in my group, she did. She volunteered to be the ball. And it's so weird because, I mean, she has no weight. So it was just like, it didn't take anything. It's kind of like, you know, I would say it's similar to being in water, but not exactly, because in water you can still feel the gravity on you. And that was another experience that was so different because, and it's one that's kind of hard to explain, but you don't realize how much gravity actually affects your day-to-day life. You know, how much, just even sitting down, how much gravity you have on you until that gravity is taken off. And then you actually, the absence of that is, ooh, it's a little freaky feeling, but a good kind of freaky feeling, you know. Oh my God, I loved it. I was like so enamored of the entire process. And another thing that they had us do in one of the rotations is they call it the Superman fly. So they had one of the people with a big hula hoop, and they put us in, you know, smaller groups, and they had us get close together as a group and push off one of the walls and extend our arms out like this, like we're flying, like super, and go through the hula hoop. The Superman flying was so much fun. It just, I don't know, it was, you know, maybe it was because they called it Superman flying, or because we were able to quote unquote fly through the hula hoop. Whatever it was fun. I mean, I felt like a kid. I think all of us did. All of us like kind of forgot for a few minutes there that we were adults and that we weren't these kids on a ride. You know, we were having a blast. And of course, you know, people wanted to try to be the first one through the hula hoop, but you know, we were supposed to kind of go together. Luckily, our group played well together, so you know, others kind of elbowed each other a little bit so that they could be the one to go through the hula hoop. I was lucky. My little group was nice. We all went through together. And then another thing that they did is, you know, they had warned us, you know, don't make any of your experiments have liquid in it. And but they still wanted us to see what zero gravity looked like on liquid. And so they had one water bottle, and they said, we're only doing this one time. We're going to squeeze the water bottle, and a droplet of water is going to come out, and whichever teacher can get to it first, and we're filming it, whichever teacher can get to it first can swallow it and show their students that they, you know, that they swallowed the water. And the funny thing is that when the water comes up, it's in this like perfect little sphere. Well, I'm super competitive, and so when we found out there was only going to get to be one teacher, yeah, you better believe that I aimed for it, and you better believe that I won. Yes, I did. I did. And so it was really cool. And of course, when I showed my students the video of it, they were all like, you won, you got it. You know, they were like so happy for me when I showed it to them. And I am so mad because when I moved from my school, the video that I had of my weightless flight somehow disappeared. I keep hoping and praying that someday I'm going to run across the box that has that flash drive that has my weightless flight in it, and I'll be able to have it. But I have my memories, you know, and as long as I don't go senile, I'll still have those memories. Right? We did have one teacher that was in the group with us. I felt so bad for her because, you know, all of us were super excited to do this, and she ended up feeling, wow, there we go again. She ended up feeling nauseous. Okay, see, if you're using tweezers and you push too hard, you will make them fly all over the place. Okay, you guys are not part of the weightless flight group. You cannot stop it. You can't do it. Stop it. Okay, sorry. And so we felt really bad for her because she had to end up holding on to the rope that was attached to the bottom of the airplane. And if you hear my dog, I'm so sorry. She's deciding to let me know that she's unhappy that I'm in here and she's out there outside. But she had to hold on to that the entire trip pretty much, and so she didn't get to experience the weightless flight like the rest of us did. And I really, really feel for her, because it's an experience that it's possible I might could do it again, especially with teaching, or when, teaching physical science. I could apply for a grant to take a class up there and have them perform the experiments. But there's a lot of paperwork that goes into it, especially when you're considering that the dangers that can be associated with it. And I did end up getting hurt on the flight. Not that it stopped me from doing it, but when they had said coming out, and I didn't hear the first coming out. I was kind of involved in doing the tricks, and I wasn't paying attention as well as I was supposed to, and that was a danger. Always follow instructions, always listen. So I didn't hear the first coming out, and so I only heard the second coming out. And so when I attempted to try to lay straight, as I was laying straight, my foot got caught up underneath me when the 3G hit, and I ended up twisting my ankle. So I had to be helped off the plane when the trip was over, but it was worth every single, like, I didn't care. Having my foot messed up did not stop me whatsoever from getting a chance to finish that flight. So, it was an experience that I will never forget, and I will hang on to for the rest of my life. And I am so glad that I got an opportunity to do it. And so it's one of those things that if you see an opportunity out there, and even though chances might be slim, you never know. If you don't try, if you don't apply for it, you don't know if you could get it or not. Like I said, I didn't think that I had a shot, but I got picked, and I got picked in the first round. So, and the funny thing is even though 60 teachers got picked, something happened to the second group, as far as they weren't able to do the second group. So there ended up being only one group that got to go from Florida. So there were 30 of us, so I was one of those 30. Okay, so you've heard me go on long enough about my weightless flight, but I thought y'all might enjoy an experience that I got to have, and I wouldn't have had it unless I was a math or science teacher, and so I am so grateful for that. All right, so time for the giveaway. Are we ready? We ready for the giveaway? Okay, so we have the set. Oh, okay, hold on a second, because you're not going to be able to see it if I don't do this. So I have to cover up my section for a second. Okay, so we have what I have given away before, which is the plastic heart-shaped wax container. Okay, I have another one of these super sparkly, and I thought this just was right, because look, it's this teal color, and since I painted her nails and her lips teal, I thought that this was the perfect cover minder. And I am adding one other thing, and trust me, this pains me to do this, because I like my patty wax, and I generally don't like to give it away, and this is actually one of my favorites. It's called Saturday Morning Cartoons. I like it because, y'all, it smells like Fruit Loops and cereal. And that brings back, okay, I need one more smell before I give it away to y'all. Okay, Fruit Loops or Fruity Pebbles. Okay, I gotta stop smelling it, or else I will regret, and I will say no. Okay, no. Okay, so the winner this week is getting a third thing, and I'm going to have to pray that she puts that back up on the side again. All right, so who is winning these 3 things? Okay, so I had 16 that have either, you know, I had more comments than that, but 16 that have not already won, and or I did have a few that have not filled out the form, and so I had no way of contacting you. So here we go, random number generator. Who are we gonna get? All right, who do we get? Okay, why is it not working? Hold on, my phone. I put in the number. Okay. Oh my gosh! Okay, sorry, it finally worked. Oh, when you can't see. It was number 7. And number 7 is Melly Shemek. Oh Lord, Melly, I probably sounded that out wrong. If I said your last name wrong, I am so sorry, girl. I'm super excited, Melly. All right, so I have your email address, and I'm going to be emailing you and letting you know that you won. Now, please remember, you still want to comment on the video. You still want to put your information in the Google form, because remember, we have a grand prize, and I am giving away a canvas. Now, I'm going to try to insert a picture of the canvas in the video, because I don't want to like actually open it. And if it doesn't work, then I'll show you a picture of it on our finale. So I really hope that you have enjoyed our teaching stories. And if you like this, please give a like down below. You know, hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing, because I would love to have you as part of the Diamonds family. But make sure you hit that bell notification for all notifications, because, well, I have to upload whenever my internet and my editor program decides that I can upload. So it's kind of whenever it says I can. All right, so I'm going to leave you like I always do. And it's even more appropriate today. Reach for the stars, grab hold on, and never let go. All right, until my next video, bye guys.